recently, over the weekend, my girl, after 7 years of only sleeping with me and only recording corn with me.
He's gonna say it to Sneako right now, bro. Yo, he's gonna say it to Sneako right now. Yo, Chris, did you hear about this? No.
Yeah, that bitch, she's fucking some dude. She's fucking again.
Some BBC. Adam22 is letting his wife
Work it. Yeah.
his wife work it with BBC. Now he's opening up to Sneako about it.
Shot her first ever scene with a guy.
Oh no!
Besides me.
How did that go?
Well, it's not out yet or anything. Actually, like people hering this might be the first time they hear about it.
Bombshell. Why? Of course, I'm the podcast.
You know what's funny is he's profiting off his pain. that's funny. He's profiting off his pain.
No, I told Destiny about it.
Oh no! His wife is profiting off his pain. There you go. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Except he was with Crip Mac, which made it a little hard to get the words out because Crip Mac just kept talking about cripping. But yeah, I agreed. I was like, you know what? She's only going to be doing this adult content for a couple more years. Realistically, you know, why not let her do what she's got to do business-wise?
How did you select the guy? It's
actually somebody that I'm real cool with that stood out to us as like, okay, he would make sense because he's like very high profile.
You picked the guy?
I wouldn't say I picked him, but he was just kind of like one of the obvious ones. And
he gave her options.
You know, I know him. He's a cool guy. So I'm kind of, but I say that, and you can let me know what you think of that.
Now think about it. Why is he so obsessed with picking out the right guy that he can trust? Why? Again, because as a man, it is your natural state to be territorial over your girl. Why? Because you open up yourself to this. What is she gonna do? That guy, if you don't trust him, he's going to steal her away from you. Look at Destiny's situation, right? Destiny literally took his fan's girl and made her his wife, right? That's why he's like, yo, I don't want my girl effing around with some Destiny, dude, with some BBC Destiny.
It's viewed very differently in the two different worlds because in the adult content space, I mean, I'm assuming that a lot of the girls are going to be like, "Oh my god, that's so cool that you let her do that."
It's empowering and all this stuff.
That's amazing, you know, blah blah blah. It'll probably be like make her super lit for a period of time, but then meanwhile, I'm prepared for within the hip hop space to be absolutely attacked for it.
Yeah, you're gonna get.
So
there's gonna be some lyrics about it for sure.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking mostly like YouTubers and streamers.
There's some bars in there.
If that's gonna get me in some songs, that's cool though.
That is pretty cool. Is that the way you want to be remembered for? It's not.
There you go. You see, Sneako's thinking what is it? He's like, is that really what you want to be remembered for, bro? Like, did you really have to go through with this? Are y'all really in a position monetarily where you really need to let her do that, bro? No, but you need to cope. You got to cope. You got to be able to take the L. So that's what he's doing.
Allegations never leave.
What, of being a cuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get it hard.
No, it's never gonna.
It's never gonna.
And the thing with you is that you just like talked about it, whereas this, like, I haven't actually seen it yet. But
you haven't seen it yet?
The content, no, but like it's gonna be on Twitter.
He hasn't even seen the content. He hasn't even seen. That tells you. There you go. That tells you everything. Why? Because it's hard to watch, bro. It's hard to watch. You want to revert back time and be like, no, I take it back. No.
I'm gonna at least see the trailer.
Right.
Probably not gonna go out of my way to see the full like half-hour version or whatever.
Avert your eyes.
I don't know that I need to see that.
See, that's your instincts. That's your territorialism. That's the RP. That's the reality coming out. But no, what does he want to do? Naturally, instinctually, he wants to revert his eyes. No, I can't do it. I gave him permission, but I can't do it, bro. I can't.
Gonna remove.
I feel like the trailer will probably show me a few of the essential angles.
He's giving himself the
emotional damage.
But I don't know. There's part of me that just felt like, you know, if this is going to like be really beneficial to her career and me and her have slept with, I don't know, maybe like 300 girls together over the years.
It's fair.
I don't know. Is it fair? It didn't feel like the biggest deal.
I mean, that was my mindset.
You see, equal. There you go. I love how Sneako is saying this. Perfect.
We do in this previous relationship. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. And
right.
I want to get married. I don't even want to date.
We could talk about your transformation for sure.
Yeah. So I completely don't advocate for that lifestyle at all.
Reject.
But when I was
reject the slave mind.
That was my mindset. Like we do with all these girls, and she lets me do threesomes. So it's like, let me make it fair.
But how long did you even date the girl that you did this with?
It was on and off for a while. It was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that serious.
I mean, if it's a girl that you're not even like really that serious with, then I especially don't think.
But
it's
you're
that
doing it
big
with
a
your
deal.
wife.
I know.
Who you have a kid with, and
It's
you're
your
just traveling
wife,
across Europe. But
bro.
before we go into this degenerate stuff, I was really happy. Like I message you all the time, because I thought you were on this.
Because you're like
wife.
using me as an example of someone who's in porn but living like a healthy lifestyle and has the right attitude about girls and sex. I heard you mention me on Fresh and Fit recently, but yeah, this
What did I
is,
say?
You were just like, I had a conversation with Adam22 the other day, and he was telling me how even after having sex with hundreds and hundreds of girls, that he finds way more fulfillment in the family thing and everything like that.
Yeah, I think that's dope. I don't agree with you on everything, but I like to see your Instagram stories, and I always respond to them. Like you travel, you spend like a month off. You were in Europe. It was your honeymoon. Congratulations, that's dope.
Best time of my life.
And just you seem really happy as a father, and
Yes.
which I didn't expect. I've been watching your content for years, and to see you doing the dad thing, like you're pushing on the swing, and all this stuff, it's really cool to see.
Well, okay, let me put it like this. A long time ago, I was listening to a Joe Budden podcast, and he was talking about how he has a really hard time listening to music at this point, because once you get really into the music industry, it's hard to just listen to a song and not think about the reasons why that song was created. Like, you hear a song and you're like, oh, this is his street song to try to like get the bodegas turned up, and then this is his love song to try to get the girls tuned in. And once you start like realizing that album rollouts are usually very similar, and a lot of these songs are just not really like created holistically.
They're all
just,
strategic, and he knows the label side of it. So
and at that point, you grew up loving hip hop, and now all of a sudden your perspective on it is kind of like, God damn, this shit is formulaic as fuck.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes it hard to like just hear
Enjoy
music and just feel this like passionate response. And I would kind of say the same thing about sex, where when I think about like the early days of my relationship, I was dying to have different threesomes and crazy out experiences and shit like that. But then once you start shooting porn, and a day at work might be me f***ing 2 or 3 different girls with my girl, it's kind of like, it makes it hard for me to understand, like when I see like I hear these stories about rappers or NBA players who are just like chasing like crazy, and they're giving girls all this money per month to be around so that they can f them more and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, as a dude who's doing this as a source of income, that now seems quite foreign to me.
I mean, what seems foreign to you?
Like spending your entire life chasing and just like acting like it's the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, it's not.
And that's one of the base things, right? Is he put himself in a position where women are coming to him, right? He's the star, and women are coming to him from different angles, right?
It's just like the biggest waste of time ever.
Yeah.
It's the biggest time suck. It's just not worth it.
And the reality is that if you want to have good sex, meaningful sex, you're probably going to get that by having sex with the same woman over and over. And not.
Boom. It's the build up, right? It's the build up. It's the connection. It's the chemistry. It's knowing that she's earned it, right? And knowing that you've put in the work to earn it from her too, right? That makes the best. That's why you don't want to rush things. That's why we say play it cool, right? The more needy you are, the more desperate you become, the more you turn her off, right? The less you show you want it, but you're still implying it, fucking with her head, building up that tension, she loves it. She's like, I don't need it, but come here. Come here anyways. I don't need it, but come here anyways. Right? She likes that. She likes to not be sure of what's gonna happen. Right? But she knows, but she likes to not be sure. She likes that, spontaneity.
Which is great to see that you've been with hundreds of girls, and you're the one saying that.
Yeah.
It's like everybody like inherently knows that, but still, like that's the number one thing that's gonna hold men back is their lust. I would say the same thing happened with probably like with Andrew Tate. He's like facing all these charges right now. Oh, he's completely innocent, but the number one vice that men are probably excused of is lust.
Yeah.
And you see so many countless examples of men going down over and over again. Even the president, like Bill Clinton, for example, like went down because he was getting some head. That's like the one thing that men are not shamed enough for that can really ruin your whole career. Like McGregor's getting accused of R-word Every man, and I've seen this my whole life, and that's why I've been very careful, stuff like that. I've recorded so many stuff, audio messages, just like, even when I was like 15, 16, that's why you're not going to see any allegations against me, because I was always aware that's the number one thing that could ruin a man's entire career.
Yeah.
And so it's just best, I would say, for if there's any like teenage men watching, the best thing to do is to avoid that. And I know I'm saying this now, and 90% of the guys aren't going to do it. They're going to continue to chase anyway. Even me, probably. You know, like I don't want to put it out and say I'm going to mess up, but it's probably going to happen. But that's the number one. I see it equivalent to being a drug addict.
Right.
It's just a dopamine release, and there's nothing fulfilling
100%.
about it.
Yeah, because for me, like, I'm very happy to be in a committed relationship where I'm, you know, sleeping in the same bed with this girl and having meaningful experiences that are going way outside.
Exactly. And why ruin it, bro? Why ruin it? She compliments your lifestyle. She follows your lead. You didn't have to do this, but you did it because society, because fair is fair, because society's like, fair is fair, right? You got an alpha female.
An alpha female.
She wants to work just as hard as you do.
Sex and everything with the family and the, you know.
And you make a lot of money. Like, why still do porn?
Well, that's part of making a lot of money. But you're right, though. I don't have to do the porn thing, but, you know, I don't know.
Same thing with your wife too. You make so much. Does she need to do that?
She doesn't need to do it,
No, she
but
doesn't.
it feels like, you know, this is her career. This is
Boom,
what
boom. Listen right there. She doesn't need to do it, right? Boom. So you already took out the realistic side. She don't need to do it. But then he goes into, it feels like, right? Now you're going with the ideology. It feels like. This is a feeling.
doing for 6-7 years, and it's not like, you know, I think there's part of her that wants to kind of see what the heights of her career could be, because of the fact that her always being with me sort of held her back financially a little bit. Because
you see, and there you go. There's the lust and the greed for views and attention. Do you want to be with the girl that's so career oriented that will do anything for views and attention? Why is it that their priority, or the thing that they feel will make them most fulfilled, is views and attention, right? As a woman, what should bring you full fulfillment should be your family. You don't need to do this. Why do this? Why even put this burden out there on your child to be bullied at school? What's the reason for it? There's no reason. Oh, I just felt like your mom should have done it to reach the height of her career. That's why I'm getting bullied at school, Dad.
The number one most requested thing is that they want to see her with the BBC.
Oh, it was a black dude. Okay.
Because they want to humiliate you, Adam. They want to humiliate you. Society wants to see you fall because you've reached this level. You've reached this top. And now you're like, you know what? I'm gonna test my limitations. I'm gonna risk it all to prove that, yeah, I'm not insecure.
Why even view it as a career? It's something. It's an intimate act, and you're separating that and turning it into a job.
Yeah, but at a certain point, raking in 6 figures a month from doing adult content becomes kind of part of your identity, you know? And
does she want that or be her identity?
I think she just realizes that she's probably in the twilight of that, and that at some point,
this is the last chance.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna have another kid.
You see, bro, this is where I'm not Islamic, bro, but I have been talking to some of my friends that do read the Quran, and they grew up, you know, Muslim. And one of the things that it says, I think, is to like really give your money away to charity. I think it's to be very charitable. Like when you make more, make sure you make enough for yourself, make sure you make enough for your family, and then very, very much be charitable, right? And it's like, this is why you don't want to live a life of just pursuing something like money that's so meaningless, right? Like, what's the point? Why am I selling my soul for the bag? Right? That's why I say, like, I don't like doing this live streaming shit for the money. I don't care about Google AdSense as much if I'm not enjoying the work and you guys aren't getting as much value from it, right? I'd rather put the team together where we could really put out quality stuff, right? So you can see where this mentality is. It's all rooted in money, chasing money, doing this for money, doing that for money, instead of the greater good. So it's like, I like to live very simplistically and minimalistically. I don't like to live in debt. I like to have a lot of savings. I enjoy less and more time with my family. I enjoy less materialistic things, and I enjoy more time, right? I have less so that I could have more time, right? Because the more you have, the more mansions, the more cars, the more stuff, right? Yeah, you're gonna be chasing that higher high, right? But if you're doing it in this way, like you're just sacrificing like your values. It's not worth it.
2-3 years, then we're probably gonna have another kid. And at that point, I mean, let me tell you, having a kid makes the whole being a porn star thing for the woman, infinitely more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's gonna have you. I mean, this might get personal, but like, have you thought about what's gonna happen when your kid starts finding out about this stuff?
Nah.
Forget it.
I mean, it's just it is what it is. She'll have like she already, if she knew what was going on, she'd realize that like a large percent.
Oh, it's a she. It's a she. So either she's definitely gonna do OnlyFans and prawn herself because her mother did it, right? Again, listen to your father. What does your father do? You're probably gonna be like, yo, hun, do the 50-50 thing, right? And then learn from your mother. The mother did the prawn, so y'all really setting your kid up to like follow in your same footsteps.
Her mom's friends did this or do this.
So it's just normal.
I mean, I just don't think that it'll necessarily carry the same level of oomph once my kid gets to the age where she understands. And obviously you're gonna like hide it from her until she is as old as possible so that she'll hopefully be able to kind of get it. Or maybe she could like get it in steps, like, oh, mom is a model. Mom's doing a photo shoot today. Like people, oh, mom makes money because people like the photos of mom.
Mom's getting BBC'd.
And then at some point it's like, oh, mom and dad were doing more than just taking photos. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to be the easiest conversation in the world over time, but I definitely know a lot of corn parents who their kids get it, don't really give a shit. I mean, we kind of have wokeness to thank for that. Thank you, LGBTQ pioneers out there, for sort of like the whole sex worker normalization thing. I think it kind of comes with that, and a lot of these kids like
but that's
probably think that this is the kind of thing that
look, you see how he feeds into the LGBTQ. Thank you, LGBTQ, for dealing with my cope and making it more acceptable for society. But what's happening with the LGBTQ movement? What's happening with all this liberation? We already know. They want to brainwash your kid, groom them to not care about gender or roles, right? The roles with your sex. They want you to ignore your biology. They want to instill all these liberalistic, colorful ideas that sound good but don't work, so that you slowly go insane, and those people can take advantage of you. They can take advantage of how you feel, because it feels good. What they say may sound good, but it feels better, right? They want to take advantage of how you feel, and that's what they've done with Adam right here. He literally just admitted. He's like, this is how I feel. Thank you, LGBTQ, for being able to help me cope with how I feel instead of what I know to be true.
Down on somebody for that.
But that's what's destroying. That's what's destroying the West. That's why LA.
Thank you, Sneako.
You love LA, right?
I like the fact that it has the best weather in the country, has the most opportunities.
But the
for me
culture's just like
personally.
1 in 3 people, you have no idea what gender they are. They're just walking around and they're just like, what hair do they have? What's their body? They have an Adam's apple and boobs. You don't know.
Okay, I can't confirm.
These alien people walking around.
I can't confirm that ratio, but I will say that I went to the farmer's market the other day, and maybe I saw 100 people at the farmer's market in total. Pretty poppin' farmer's market, so it might be 200. I saw at least 3 trans people. So that really had me thinking, like,
yeah,
this ratio is going up.
But don't you see how that's, you're using wokeness to justify, like, okay, well, woke culture is so strong right now. By the time my kid grows up, sex work is going to be so normalized that I won't even have to explain it. It's just going to be a regular thing.
That is one part of wokeness that I can appreciate. Also, like, normalizing, gay people feeling accepted in society, normalizing, like, wokeness has a wide range.
You know what's funny? It's so easy to normalize it when you've gained massive success from it. And then what about for the people that haven't? They just get fucked. They just get fucked.
It affects. I mean, like, the fact that, like, a black guy feels
Alien
safer walking
people.
down the street, that he's not going to be, I don't know, tackled by the police as often. I mean, wokeness is about also rooting that out from society as well, right?
Do black guys just get tackled by the police for crossing the street?
They
I've
don't.
never heard that.
Well, okay, it might be a little bit of an exaggeration. But
Thank you. It is an exaggeration. And like I always say, think about it from the cop's perspective. I'm not saying that's okay, right? But if you have empathy, if you want to have empathy for LGBTQ, right? Also have empathy for cops. Look at both perspectives. A cop does this. I want to say that's justified, but I would kind of, to a certain extent, understand why they kind of abuse their power a little bit, because they have seconds to make a decision that will impact their life, right? They have seconds. Because remember, cops, what do you think is on their TikTok feed? They watch TikTok. They're susceptible to manipulation and brainwashing too, right? What do you think is on their feed when they come home from a hard day's work? When they're around a lot of, poor communities, right? With a lot of black people in there. They're always seeing crime and black on black crime and how these people move, right? Criminally. And then all their feed is just flooded with all these criminal things. And then when they're put in that situation, they're like, damn, bro, I got to make a decision quick. Even if I may look bad on camera, I got to make a decision quick because I don't want to get killed. I don't want to get hurt. I want to return to my family. So, again, it's hard to be a cop. It's hard to make those decisions when you've probably been brainwashed in the wrong direction and you need that experience on the job, right? So you're never going to be able to completely separate race from a cop's job. They're always going to go back and assess their personal experiences. And if most of their personal experiences say, hey, guess what? A black dude is more likely to do this, that's what they're going to respond to in a real life situation. They don't give a fuck about your ideas. When it comes to survival, that's what they're going to turn to. So that's why it's never going to be taken away just because of wokeism, right? But you can't create laws where you're not overly abusive, right? Where you're not literally hurting people just because they're of the color of their skin. That's crazy.
I don't think that's ever happened to
okay, like there are a lot of things that fall under the woke umbrella, right?
That's true. But
Good
I think those are really overinflated, and the gay acceptance thing, that's the number that people think that. So this is where wokeness doesn't make any sense. Is they'll say like gay people need to be normalized, but then they wave LGBT flags at the White House, and the president
And
is
show
with,
their titties.
yeah, and the
trans
tranny,
titties.
the president's with the tranny on the White House lawn. So it's like, are you guys just like, oh, we need to go accept this? It's accepted. They're waving the flags everywhere. They replaced the American flag with the pride flag. There's a whole month to celebrate this stuff. Right now, the people are walking through the streets saying that we were going for your kids. We're going for your kids.
When I saw that clip, I was like, they don't want to be accepted. Like, if they really wanted to be accepted, they'd be willing to cede some ground and admit that, like, chanting we're coming for your kids is not a good idea. And it's like the same thing with the trans sports conversation. Like, if the LGBTQ community was really concerned with being accepted, they would give up on some parts of their platform, such as the fact that, like, letting biological males play against women in sports is just fucking atrocious.
It's
They ruined sports, man, for women, bro. They've ruined sports. Now the weak men that are still stronger than women literally dominate them in every field. And the women are like, yeah, I don't even want to race anymore. I'm going to go back to being a mom.
That's the thing. It's not about acceptance. It's about converting everybody to gay.
Yeah.
Because gay people can't reproduce.
Nice.
And that's the reason that we exist. God created everybody so that we can reproduce. And that's why you look so happy.
Wait. What the fuck? I've never heard that take. Let's rewind that real quick. That was great.
Women in sports is just fucking atrocious.
But it's not, that's the thing. It's not about acceptance. It's about converting everybody to gay.
It's not about acceptance. It's about converting everyone to gay. Really look at your timeline on TikTok. Really look at these trans people and tell me what he's saying is not on point. Nailed it. He nailed it. That's crazy.
Because gay people can't reproduce. And that's the reason that we exist. God created everybody so that we can reproduce. And that's why you look so happy as a father, and why that makes me happy seeing that you're enjoying fatherhood. Because that's the reason why we exist. And the LGBT people, they will always resent the fact that they can never fulfill their purpose. So they reproduce by coming for the children.
Well, but they can reproduce through surrogates. We see gay dudes with kids that they
But
adopt all the time.
that's not real. That's not real reproduction. They reproduce, and they don't even really want. They don't want kids. They don't want straight kids. They want more gay people. That's why it's not about acceptance. It's about making everybody gay. So they get more gay people by touching a kid, by putting a flag in a school.
A flag?
A flag. I became Asian for a second. Okay. That's their way of reproducing.
Well, the flag is essentially a frag, right? A frag grenade trying to blow up the kids with these ideologies.
I'm down for the
It's
critique
ruining things.
of wokeness, but I don't think that the vast majority of these people actually want to, like, indoctrinate kids into being gay.
Well, then why are they chanting, "We're coming, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children"?
I think that is a very specific group right there.
I know,
And
but
the
10 years ago-
the
No,
average-
they do it every single Pride Month. They've affirmed it themselves. They do it Remember, we gone over this, guys. They do that chant because they want to say, oh, like they're essentially like kind of sarcastically saying it. They're like, oh, we want to take control back of the slurs that people use against us. And I can understand, I can empathize with that mentality, but the reality is that you're taking advantage. You're actually manifesting it. You're self-hypnotizing yourself to thinking this is okay, right? And then all these things that we're talking about, it's going to manifest itself in reality because they're saying it. Now they're saying it to themselves. Now they're essentially brainwashing themselves with, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. That's how they brainwash themselves into thinking, oh yeah, next time I do something that's grooming or pedophile-ish, it's okay, right? And that's what we saw with the teacher in school saying, oh, don't refer to pedophiles as pedophiles, refer to them as MAPs, right? Minor attracted person. The fuck? So you become too accepting. You can't ignore these things. And now there's laws in Congress that want to be passed that makes you a bad parent if you don't allow your kid to, if you don't accept your kid's gender dysphoria.
A person is looking at that clip thinking, what the fuck?
Is that true? I think if they're if they were at that pride parade, one, they wouldn't say anything. Two, most of them would probably just join in the chant. And even 10 years ago when we legalized gay marriage, people were like, all the religious people were like, this is a bad slippery slope. And they're like, no, we need to accept this. But look where we are now. 10 years ago, you couldn't imagine a parade of people in a park publicly saying we're queer, we're coming for your kids.
Yeah.
And now that's happening. So what's going to be in 10 years? The slippery slope thing, they always say it's a logical fallacy, but where are we going to be in 10 years if right now in a park you could say we're coming for your children and we're queer?
I kept waiting for like a community note to pop up on that clip just because it felt like this has to be a psyop. This
It's like
has to be
satire.
fake. This has to be
AI.
a bunch of right-wing dudes who are just fucking with them and like
No.
chanting it.
They're too ugly to
Because
be
you do
fed.
see that. You'll see people who go to like gay pride marches and they'll hold up like pro-pedophilia signs to get a photo just to make people go crazy
I
on
haven't
Twitter.
seen that.
I've seen a little bit of this where it's like people will show up and take a photo just to piss people off on Twitter. But I mean, when you see like 50 people chanting something, it's kind of hard to believe that that was all.
No, and they look just like the woke people. They have the titties. They dress just like them. See, the feds psyops is really obvious to see. On the right wing, they'll do this. They'll show up in like full black masks and they'll do hollow. They'll pretend like they're Nazis, even though it's very clearly that they're fed psyops. But these people that's just their ideology. That's what the plus is in LGBT. People wonder what is a plus? Pedophilia. That's the next step. That's the only other thing that they haven't normalized.
I think they booted the pedophiles out of the gay rights movement a long time ago.
They just changed the name to MAP.
Kind of weeding their way back in.
I mean, they want to. They're
Sneako
saying
knows what he's talking about. You see, he just said it. They just changed their names to MAPs. That's how they're trying to normalize it.
should be able to transition when you're 12 years old. They're saying that we should give, like, you can't vote until you're 18. You can't drink until you're 21, but you can get a transgender surgery at any age, according to these people.
I know. I mean, that's like another example of something that if they wanted to be accepted, they would take a look at that and be like, okay, maybe we should admit that 12 is too young to start transition.
But they're never going to compromise because it's not about acceptance. They are accepted. They rule over everything. The president's on their side. The flag's everywhere. They're taking over. It's not about acceptance. It's about turning the culture gay. But it's fine. You know, the funny thing too is that, shout out to Ryan Dawson, LGBT, they know that there's two genders. There's only two genders. And they know it too. What does the B stand for in LGBT?
Bisexual.
Oh, bisexual.
What is bisexual? That's a binary. Two.
Yeah.
That means there's two so even in their own acronym, they're acknowledging that there's two genders.
You
And
see,
then
you see why I say LGB over QT, bro. Right? Because the LGB, that's fine, bro. Lesbian, gays, bi, that's fine, bro. Accept it, bro. But the QT, they've ruined it. They've ruined it, bro. And even the LGB knows they don't fuck with the QT part, bro. Most of them don't. They really don't. They're like, y'all dragging it, bro.
the one after is saying, well, there's all these other. It doesn't make any
Love
sense.
you, Sneako.
What's the Q? What are the Q people? Does anyone know?
Yeah, what is
What's up, Justin Big Mac? How you doing, bro?
That's just a slur. That's just like the F word with the suppressor on
You
it.
see Elon Musk saying that cis is a slur now?
That's funny.
I was confused by that.
Yeah,
Elon
It never
Musk says
occurred
cis
to
is a
me
slur.
that cis might be a slur.
it's just normal.
This is the sort of baseline thing, right?
Just regular.
That's why it didn't occur to me that it could be a slur.
you can get
It's
banned.
a slur. It's a slur because whenever you offend a trans person, the first thing that says, "Oh, you say it's because you're a cisgender white male." They always say that you're a cisgender white male, right? That's why it's become a slur because they immediately have to point out the fact that you just operate in reality, right? So if you operate in reality, you're a cisgender white male. That's why. That's why you think this way.
for that?
He's like suggesting that may be the future of the platform. Although I mean, that's going to result in like damn near all of these fucking gay rights people getting banned, right?
Do you get triggered when you hear the word cis? I get a little bit triggered.
I wouldn't say I get triggered, but I don't find it terribly useful.
Exactly.
What
It's like you already know the conversation you're gonna have with these people. They're brain dead. They have no real way of thinking. They victimize themselves. Like as soon as you hear the word cis, you're just like, beep. Like you already know, bro. Like as soon as I hear the word cis, it's always a girl that says it when she's mad and she wants to call somebody misogynist.
That's stupid.